You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 186.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news. Basically, anything that would be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Today is February 24th, 2025. It's a Monday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Stage 22 in beautiful Elwood, Indiana. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in beautiful Jeffersonville, Indiana. Coming up, we have highlights from Sunday's boys basketball sectional draw, the 212th showdown between IU and Purdue, plus IU's and Purdue's women also both in action, the Pacers at home against the Clippers, and lots of college baseball and softball results. But before we get to that, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to start doing lots of cool stuff over there, so please go subscribe there so you don't miss any of that. And in case you missed it, on Sunday night, we had our sectional draw special. Michelle Garman of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader and I went over every single sectional across the state. Then we talked to lots and lots of high school coaches and got their reactions, and we will be releasing those throughout the day Monday, starting at 8 a.m. All right, taking a look at Sunday night's IHSA boys basketball sectional draw. We will start in Class A locally in an 8-team sectional at Purdue Broad Ripple. 13-8 Liberty Christian is the defending champion and should have very little trouble in the first round against 5-12 MTI Knowledge. That is in Tuesday's second quarterfinal. They will likely play Tinley in the semifinal round. On the other half of the draw, 17-5 Anderson Prep has never won a sectional game, but just beat first round opponent Indiana Def 85-27 on Friday. It has been an historic year in Anderson for the Jets, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. They are favored in their half of the draw and should see either Tinley or rival Liberty Christian in the sectional championship game. All of those, of course, are on Saturday, March 9th. I spoke with Anderson Prep assistant coach Mike King and senior Lincoln Fathauer about the Jets draw. That will be released later this morning, about 9 o'clock in the morning. At Southwood, it's Southwood versus Northfield in the opener on Tuesday, followed by 5-14 Cowan against 8-13 North Miami. Then on Wednesday, it's in the 8-team sectional. It's 5-14 Daleville against 8-13 Tri Central. And 8-12 Westdale against 1-18 Southern Wells. Tuesday's winners play in Friday's semifinals, as do Wednesday's winners against each other, with the winners of those games playing in Saturday's championship. On Sunday, Michelle Garman and I spoke with Tri Central head coach Cam Heinman about his team's draw. That, too, will be out later this morning. A couple of 15-win teams, Taylor and Tipton, face off in the first game at the 2A sectional at Frankton, followed by Frankton versus Elwood on Tuesday night, March 4th. Sheridan will play the Tipton-Taylor winner on Friday. And then 17-5, 10th ranked and sectional favorite Lapel will play either Frankton or Elwood in Friday's second semifinal. Again, that's at Frankton. On Sunday, Michelle and I spoke with Frankton head coach Brent Brobston and Lapel head coach Kevin Cherry about their team's draws. Those will be released later this afternoon. Also hope to hear from Tipton head coach Cliff Hawkins later Monday or later this week. At Blackford, the top three teams are all on the top half of the bracket. Number 2, Wapahani, is the defending North champion and is 21-1. They will face a 12-7 Eastbrook team that has recently beaten CIC co-champions Oak Hill and Blackford and also Mississinewa. And the winner will play against 13-9 and one of those CIC champions, Blackford, in Friday's semifinal round. That provides a great opportunity for 9-11 Madison Grant, which opens against 2-18 Burris, and 6-15 Alexandria, which drew a first round bye. Also coming up later Monday, we'll get reactions from Blackford's Aaron Daniels and Madison Grant's Josh Hendrickson. That'll be on Monday afternoon. At Wabash, the top two teams, number 2 Manchester and Oak Hill, drew first round byes. 14-6 Oak Hill will face either 4-16 Cass or winless Wabash in Friday's semifinal round. Manchester will play Tuesday's winner between Rochester and Eastern. Our first coach's reaction podcast that we are going to release will be 8 a.m. on Monday, and that'll be Kevin Renbarger. He will talk about Oak Hill's draw and the challenge of potentially facing Manchester once again. 10-10 Marion is the favorite in the 3A sectional at Belmont and opens the sectional in Tuesday's second quarterfinal against 4-17 Belmont. The winner gets 12-9 Heritage in Friday's semifinals. In the first game Tuesday, it's 9-11 Mississinewa against 10-10 Norwell, with the winner getting 13-9 New Haven on Friday. You can see any of those three teams coming out of that half of the bracket. The top 4 teams at Logansport are all on one side of the bracket. They will all play on Wednesday, with the winners playing each other in Friday's semifinals. And it's 13-9 Western against 16-5 Mechanical, followed by 16-6 West Lafayette against 12-7 Northwestern. So it was a really good draw for Peru and Twin Lakes, and even host Logansport, giving pretty much every team an opportunity to win that sectional. Delta, Hamilton Heights, and Newcastle are the favorites at Newcastle. On the top of the draw, it's Jay County against Yorktown in the first round, with the winner facing defending champion and 14-6 Delta. On the other side, it's 13-8 Hamilton Heights against 9-13 Connorsville, with the winner going against 8-12 and host Newcastle. A lot better than that 8-12 record. They've been playing much better of late. And later this morning, we will release our conversation with Hamilton Heights head coach Chad Ballinger. Looks like the Huskies have a legit chance in that one. For Kokomo is a 4-team sectional and starts Friday the 7th. In the semifinals, it's 19-3 in favorite Jeff against Harrison, followed by 15-7 Kokomo against 13-7 McCutcheon. Seems like a wide open sectional at a great venue. Gotta like Kokomo's chances at home in that one. And at Muncie Central, in the south of the 4A draw, number 4 Greenfield Central opens against 8-14 Pendleton Heights, with the winner facing 7-15 Muncie Central. Braylon Mullins and the Cougars will be huge favorites to get out of that half of the bracket. The sectional's other contenders, Mount Vernon and Anderson, are in the other half of the draw. 16-4 Mount Vernon starts the sectional against 7-14 Richmond. The winner gets 20-2 and 5th-ranked Anderson in Friday's semifinals. The 212th game between IU and Purdue was a memorable one. IU led 21-16 in the first half before Purdue closed the first half on a 21-4 run to take a 12-point halftime lead. Then IU scored 28 of the first 34 points in the second half, and it was game over. The Hoosiers outscored number 13 Purdue 48-21 in the second half for a 73-58 victory, and it wasn't that close. They shot 60% in the second half and held Purdue to 42% shooting for the game and for 16 Boilermaker turnovers. Indiana head coach Mike Woodson said he liked the way his team responded in the final 20 minutes.
Great second half. I mean, I didn't play with very many people off the bench. I kind of rode the seniors. We've been in a lot of close games over the last month and a half, man, and I just haven't been able to get them over the hump. And tonight they refused to to lose. I thought the second half we did everything from a defensive standpoint that we'd worked on.
5 Hoosiers scored in double figures, led by 15 points apiece from Malik Renew and Trey Galloway. Omar Ballo and Miles Rice scored 12 each, and Luke Goody had 11. The Hoosiers are now 16-11, 7-9 in the Big Ten, and squarely on the NCAA bubble. Purdue is a lock despite 4 straight losses. They were led by 20 points from Fletcher Lawyer. All-American candidates Trey Kaufman-Renn and Braden Smith had just 17 points combined. Purdue is now 19-9 overall and 11-6 in the Big Ten. And head coach Matt Painter is looking for some answers.
Total lack of concentration, more than anything on our end. You have to be able to, like the first play, we get them to miss defensively, and they get an offensive rebound. They end up getting a 3 off of that. And then we just start turning the basketball over.
I spoke with the Action Sports Network's Grant Schaus and Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garman about IU's win over Purdue. Go find that episode if you are interested. IU women were beaten 73-65 at Michigan State. The Hoosiers were led by 15 points and 10 rebounds from Chloe Moore McNeil, and they are now 17-10 overall, 9-7 in the Big Ten. Purdue's women lost 98-46 to Ohio State and are now 9-18 on the season. Rashonda Jones was the only Boilermaker in double figures with 11 points. The Indiana Pacers led the Clippers from start to finish in a 129-111 victory at the Fieldhouse on Sunday afternoon. Tyrese Halliburton led 7 Pacers in double figures with 29 points. He also had 12 assists and 3 steals. He was 9 for 14 from the field and made half of his 8 3-point attempts in the win.
And then I'm just trying to do the best job to get 2 feet in the paint. I know we always talk about, me being aggressive, how I can be better. And I've talked to you guys about this before where, aggression isn't just shots. It's paint touches, getting 2 feet in the paint. And I think I'm, doing a better job of that than I have, really all year. So.
The Pacers shot 55% from the field. Aaron Nesmith had 19 points on 7 of 11 shooting. And TJ McConnell was 5 for 5 for 13 points. And here it comes. MCCONNELL McConnell. Indiana is now 32-23 and in 4th in the Eastern Conference, 4 games behind the Knicks for 3rd and a half game ahead of 5th place Milwaukee. James Harden had a game-high 31 points for the 31-25 Clippers. To college baseball, IU Kokomo earned a doubleheader split Sunday, beating Northwestern Ohio 10-4, and falling to IU South Bend 8-5. Gavin Smith had a double, scored 3 times, and drove in 2 on the day. IU won its second straight, beating Harvard 14-4 in Cary, North Carolina on Sunday. Junior outfielder Devin Hamilton was 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, and his first home run of the season. He drove in 4 and scored twice. Jeffersonville's Corbin Dickerson was 3 for 5. He homered and drove in 5 and scored 3 times for the Hoosiers. Purdue is 7-0 on the season after sweeping Niagara with 11-0 win on Sunday in Holly Springs, North Carolina. The Boilermakers outscored Niagara 38-9 in the 4-game series. C.J. Richmond was the star of the series and hit a pair of home runs in Sunday's win. IU softball lost its 3rd straight 7-2 at Texas Tech. Melina Wilkeson had a pair of RBI doubles in the loss. Purdue picked up a pair of wins on Sunday, 11-4 over Samford and 9-4 over UAB in Birmingham. Mariah Poehler was 6 for 9 with a double and 4 runs. Delaney Reef was 2 for 4 with 3 doubles and 7 RBIs on the day. And Ball State finished its trip to Charlotte with a 5-inning, 12-1 win over Albany on Sunday. The top 4 batters in the Cardinals lineup all homered, and senior catcher Michaela Timmons drove in 4 runs and scored twice. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thanks for listening. Always appreciate it. please do us a huge favor and tell your friends about the Central Indiana Sports Report. We think we are doing a great job, and we deserve to have the word spread about our podcast. Just my humble opinion. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.